In the beginning of the 10th generation, the world was full of violence. Every thought of every heart was only evil, continually. The earth was corrupt before God, filled with bloodshed, deceit, and greed. The creation groaned under the weight of mankind's wickedness. But there was one man who found grace in the eyes of the Lord. His name was Noah, a righteous man, blameless among his generation, a man who walked with God. And the Lord said to Noah, "The end of all flesh has come before me. The earth is filled with violence through them. Behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Rooms you shall make in the ark, and cover it inside and outside with pitch. For behold, I myself am bringing floodwaters upon the earth, to destroy from under heaven all flesh in which is the breath of life." And Noah told his wife, and his 3 sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their wives. And they trembled at the word of the Lord. But faith is not the absence of fear. It is the courage to obey, though the world calls you mad. So Noah began to build, not in secret, but in the sight of all, an ark 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, 30 cubits high, a vessel larger than any ship the world had ever seen. Year after year, the sound of hammer and saw rang through the valley. Trees fell, beams were shaped, the impossible rose from the dust. And the people laughed. They mocked the old man and his sons. "Where is the flood?" they cried. "It has never rained. The earth drinks from the rivers, as it always has." But Noah worked on, by torchlight, by starlight. While the world slept in its corruption, the righteous labored in faith. Even his own sons grew weary. "Father, how long? The people despise us. Our hands bleed, our backs break, and still no rain." But Noah's wife spoke wisdom. "Would you rather be mocked by men, or found faithless before God? We did not choose this calling, but we will answer it." And so the ark stood complete, 3 decks. A roof, a door, a window, a refuge not built by hands alone, but by obedience. Inside, stalls for the animals, stores of grain and hay, provisions for a journey none could imagine, practical faith, detailed obedience. And on the day it was finished, Noah stood upon the roof and felt the first drops of rain upon his face. 40 years of preparation, 7 days of warning. And now the heavens opened. Then the Lord said, "Go into the ark, you and all your household. Of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every kind you shall bring into the ark, to keep them alive with you, male and female." And the creatures came, not by force, not by cage, but by divine summons. From every corner of the earth they journeyed, pair by pair, species by species. The lion walked beside the lamb, the wolf with the sheep. For one brief moment before the old world perished, the prophecy of peace was made visible. The birds descended in clouds of color, every wing, every feather, every song swirling above the ark like a living crown. The smallest creatures too, beetles and butterflies, lizards and serpents, nothing too humble, nothing overlooked. The Creator called and creation answered. Last of all, the great elephants, their massive forms climbing the ramp, the ground trembling beneath their steps. And the door of the ark stood open no more. For after 7 more days I will cause it to rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. The fountains of the great deep burst forth. The windows of heaven were opened. Not rain as men had known it, but walls of water. The judgment of a patient God, long withheld, now poured out without measure. Inside the ark the world heaved. The family clung to hope as the vessel clung to the waves. Animals cried out in fear, but the ark held. It had been built to hold. Outside the waters rose, 15 cubits above the highest mountains. Every living thing that moved on the earth perished. Birds, cattle, beasts, every creeping thing and every man, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days, 40 days of rain. 110 more of waiting, the old world washed away. Then Noah sent forth a dove, to see if the waters had receded from the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned to him. He waited 7 days more, and sent her out again. But she returned, and in her mouth was an olive leaf, freshly plucked. And Noah knew. He sent out the raven, and it went to and fro until the waters were dried up. But the dove brought back hope, and God remembered Noah. A wind passed over the earth, and the waters subsided. The fountains of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped. The rain was restrained. The dove went out again, and this time she did not return. She had found a home in the new world. In the 7th month, on the 17th day, the ark came to rest upon the mountains of Ararat. The vessel that had carried salvation through judgment now rested on a promise. And Noah opened the window. Light flooded in, not the light of judgment, but of mercy. The door swung wide, and creation emerged, blinking, breathing, living. Down the ramp they went, the great and the small, the fierce and the gentle, each pair stepping onto cleansed soil, carrying the future in their bones. And Noah and his wife and his sons and their wives, 8 souls, the seed of all nations, walked out into a world born again. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and he offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a soothing aroma. And the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground for man's sake. Never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood. Never again. And God said, This is the sign of the covenant which I make between me and you, and every living creature. I set my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be for the sign of the covenant between me and the earth.